Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here. If you're looking to understand the core of what makes things actually work for people, well, you're in the exact right place. Today, we're exploring the foundations of design research. Our core premise for this whole explainer is simple but really profound. Design is fundamentally, at its very roots, about human understanding. Honestly, it's just about people.
Every successful design begins with a question. I want you to really think about that for a second. Good design isn't about just jumping straight into a sketchbook or firing up your software. It doesn't begin with an answer. It always begins with asking the right question.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the designer as investigator, why design needs research, data versus human opportunities, the investigator's toolkit, real-world design, specifically in India, and we'll wrap up with an observation exercise.
Part 1. The designer as investigator. We're shifting the paradigm here. I want you to start thinking of the designer not just as an artist, but really as a detective looking for clues. This is a massive mindset shift. We're moving away from that old output-focused question of, what should I create? Instead, a true design investigator asks, wait, who am I creating this for? And honestly, why? That changes the whole game. It moves us away from just making things and toward intentionally solving real problems for real people.
So how do we actually answer that who and why? Well, through design research. Basically, it's the process of collecting information to understand users. We're talking about their needs, their daily challenges, their behaviors, and their experiences. Why? So we can make informed decisions instead of just relying on assumptions. And trust me, relying on assumptions is a terrible strategy. This is the foundation that stops us from blindly guessing what people might want. Bottom line, a designer is also an investigator. Before you even think about creating a solution, you absolutely must investigate the problem.
Which brings us to Part 2. Why design needs research. Let's look at the absolute danger of assumptions and what happens when we skip that detective work.
Imagine you're designing a chair. Seems super basic, right? But imagine designing it without knowing who is actually going to use it. Are they tall, short, elderly? Where is it going to live? Indoors, outdoors, a cramped little cafe, or a huge lounge? How long are people sitting on it? 5 minutes or, 8 straight hours? You could design the most breathtaking, avant-garde chair in the entire world, but if it gives someone a backache after 5 minutes, it's a massive fail. Good design always starts with understanding reality. Section 3. Data versus human opportunities. Digging deeper. Because look, it's really important to note that not all research is created equal. Traditional research looks for information. It asks things like, how many people buy water bottles? Cool, that gives you a number, that gives you scale. But qualitative design research, it looks for opportunities. It asks the juicy stuff. Why do people choose certain bottles? And what annoying problems do they face while using them? Does it leak in their bag? Is it too heavy? Does it absolutely refuse to fit in a car cup holder? Design research looks way deeper into actual human experiences rather than just throwing cold, hard numbers at you.
Part 4. The Investigator's Toolkit. Let's talk about the practical methods we actually use to gather these human insights.
Every single tool gives you a totally different lens to view the user. Observation is about watching real behavior in the wild, like seeing how people actually navigate a busy park. Interviews? That's talking directly to users to find the core why behind their choices. Surveys let you take those whys and test them at a massive scale. And market and trend research helps you understand the landscape of what's already out there. It's like a giant puzzle, and these tools are your pieces. Section 5. Real-world design in India. Let's see how this applied investigation works across different design specializations. We're looking at some hyper-localized examples here, because context is literally everything in design.
Let's start with fashion design.
In India, fashion research means deeply studying lifestyles and the brutal local climate. You aren't just designing a cool garment, you're designing breathable kurtas specifically to solve the very real problem of surviving a sticky, 40-degree humid summer while still maintaining cultural style. If we jump to interior design, the investigation completely shifts. Here, designers investigate how multi-generational Indian families live. You've got grandparents, parents, and kids all sharing the same spaces. Research here is about figuring out how to balance communal spaces where, let's be honest, everyone is probably fighting over the TV remote, with the real need for individual privacy.
In the digital space, UI/UX design research is absolutely critical. Think about UPI payment flows. Studying user behavior here ensures digital financial tools are accessible to everyone. Research means investigating how a rural user, maybe with varying levels of digital literacy, interacts with a screen. You have to ensure that process is flawless and inspires total confidence, no matter how tech-savvy they are.
For product designers, it's all about local infrastructure. A great example is water purification. A product designer has to identify the everyday usability problems associated with the local tap supply, researching water pressure, specific local contaminants, and even just figuring out how much space is in a typical kitchen so they can create a solution that actually works there.
Textile researchers do some incredible detective work too. They explore local materials and deeply rooted expectations. For instance, how do you take traditional khadi fabric and explore modern, super durable uses for it? It's about totally respecting the history of the material, but understanding what a modern consumer functionally demands.
And finally, graphic design. Graphic designers have to navigate incredibly complex communication needs. In India, a major research challenge is balancing multilingual typography on FMCG, fast-moving consumer goods. How on earth do you make sure the brand message, ingredients, and instructions are perfectly balanced across 4 different languages on a tiny bar of soap? That takes intense research into visual hierarchy and audience literacy.
Part 6, the observation exercise. Okay, it's your turn. We've talked theory, we've looked at examples, and now I want you to play detective.
Wherever you are watching this explainer right now, take a look at the physical objects around you. Pick just one item. It could be the chair you're sitting on, a bag near your desk, the phone you're holding, whatever. Just lock your eyes onto one single object. Got it? Okay, apply that design investigator mindset. Ask yourself, who was this specifically designed for, and what exact problem is it trying to solve for them?
Now take a second and think about the invisible detective work. What research might the designer have done before creating it? Who did they interview? What behaviors did they have to observe? What assumptions did they have to completely throw out the window to arrive at that final product you're looking at right now?
I want to leave you with this really powerful thought. Design is not just about creating beautiful things. It is about creating meaningful solutions. And you literally can only create meaning when you truly understand the people you're creating for. So as you go about your day, looking at the tools, the apps, and the spaces around you, ask yourself, what invisible human problems are just waiting for you to solve them? Keep observing.